Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House. This is Jennifer Hines and myself, Sandy Shallis, and we have a busy show tonight. I see that you're all joining, and Jennifer, hey, everybody! Very cool. Jen, I can't hear you. Are you muted?
I sure am. Hey
That's fine.
guys,
I do it all the time, every
good
show.
to see you all today. We've got a great show here, so I'm gonna give you the
Yeah, we do.
30,000-foot rundown. Um, first up from AccuWeather.com, Arctic air to slide from plains to east coast, every bit as cold as last week. So Sandy has been experiencing very, very icy weather
Yeah,
up
I'd
in
say.
Western New York.
I
And
would
it
say.
kind of slid from us to you, Sandy. We've already had all that very icy weather. And then we've got something from Inside Climate News. ConocoPhillips' plan for extracting 500 million barrels of crude in Alaska's fragile Arctic presents a defining moment for Joe Biden. Well,
Does
this
it
is an
not?
article to get us all activated, no doubt, right?
Yes, no doubt.
No
No
doubt.
doubt. Mm.
And then we've got one from the Barents Observer. Major disaster averted in icy Kara Sea after 2 oil barges ran aground, and that's got some good
Wonderful.
pictures. Yes. So, as we continue to do what we do as a species.
Mhm.
Then we've got, one from Vice.com, and, it's entitled, "Shell's Massive Carbon Capture Plant is emitting more than it's capturing."
Yay! And
Good
that's
job.
Vice, so it's pretty reputable, I think, Vice. It's
Good
kinda
job.
mainstream,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
And then, we've got one from the New York Times, and it's an old trove of photos could reveal the future of these Arctic glaciers, and it's pretty cool. I love these before and after photos, Sandy. They're so gripping.
Oh,
They're
it's
so
gonna be nice.
interesting.
Yes.
And then we've got something, from High North News that was originally in Norwegian. I successfully got it on the English
Good.
version finally.
Good.
I
Great.
would not be successful in trying to read Norwegian, not even a little bit. New research identifies communities in the Arctic that are most vulnerable when the permafrost thaws.
Alright.
And that's it, Sandy. That's where we're
Yeah.
going today.
And we'll see what time we have left, but I don't know. So listen, everybody's joining us, and I made a video, and we're gonna watch that first because I see that the count's going up, and Rich is here, Poppy's here. Hi, Max, and Torstein going south is here, and Rich, Diana, Kim. Thank you for moderating, and hello, Jim McHenry, and Lightning Rod, and Jerome. This is great, Chris. And Christine, Climate Marcher, John, thank you all for coming. Kameshwari Kate's here. Yay. Jeremy Jimenez is here. Yes, Jeremy. Loey's here. Christine L. All right. Well, Cindy Seeley, look at the client. Everybody's here. And Nostradamus. David's here. All right.
Yay!
Yay. Hi, David. So, okay, guys, just calm yourselves. Watch the video. Deal with it, okay? Just deal with it. I'm so sorry. Just deal with it. Whoops, wrong one. Guys,
Oh.
well, I hope you enjoyed that. I thought I would start out today with a little less doom and gloom and a little something to get you smiling and laughing. And I don't know if it did it. Could it depressed you? Who knows? There's always somebody that's going to find something that's that oh, the cats will kill birds, all this and that, all that stuff. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. So
I
we're
did.
gonna we're gonna start the show, and I'm gonna just say I might be moving around a bit because I felt when I brought in my wagon with my firewood, all I had to do was just pull it up over the door jamb thing, and I felt that was it. So I'm a little kind of uncomfortable. But hey, shit happens and we are here. So let's get started, Jennifer. Now, do
Mhm.
you want to start with the first article? We'll talk about the cold air because I'll tell you what, it's
Yeah.
freezing. Okay, I know I sound goofy, like a real
It's
goofball, but
it's all that Arctic amplification,
it
Sandy.
is. It
It's
is.
it's the s it's the splitting of the polar vortex, and as the Arctic is melting, it's having a really cooling effect on the North America and also Siberia,
Oh,
but
good.
we've been feeling it tremendously, and when that jet stream drips or dips, you feel it, and it's so cold. We just had the worst cold weather here, and now you're getting it there.
Oh, it's awful. It's really cold,
Yeah,
and I am cold. I am cold, but let's see. I've got
yeah.
another one
Oh,
because
well,
the other
I've
day.
got good news. It's not gonna
What?
last forever because as soon as
No.
the Arctic melts, we're not gonna get these Arctic amplifications anymore.
Oh, that's a not
That's
a
gonna change
that's not
everything.
comforting because this is
No,
winter. It is winter, but it is
it
weird
is
when
winter.
I look at this. You see that? And I see
Mhm.
that in Fairbanks, where Jim lives, it was 16. And at my house, it was -2. So it just seems
Mhm.
like there was something that was not right with that picture. So that's why we're going to start off with the article on AccuWeather article. All right. So let me pull that up, and then we have graphs and we have all kinds of good stuff tonight. So we're going to come back with that article and turn this one off, get that article up, get us up, and there we go. AccuWeather. Arctic air to slide from the plains to the East Coast, every bit as cold as last week. So there is a video. I don't know. Should I play it, Jen? What do you think?
Yeah, it's only
Why not?
a minute and a
Yeah.
half. Why
Let's
not
see what, because
throw
I
it?
forgot if I don't think I played it when I was reading the article. So let's see if it plays. First of all, it should. It's not an overlay. All right, let's go.
A polar vortex over the Hudson Bay
Ooh.
continues to sit and spin as we go through not just the weekend, but into the work week, which means another shot of cold air wrapping its
Uh-oh.
way around. And guess what? We'll be talking about more chill pushing in the mid-Atlantic and southeast as we head through the week. But since this cold air is here, well, we're getting the snow. This is a Clipper system, pretty weak, and it's fast moving as it pushes its way across Ohio and into Pittsburgh throughout the morning hours. It may produce some snowflakes into places like New York City and Philadelphia for the later evening hours. So that's a possibility. We're not talking about much, though, in the way of accumulations. Mostly the mountains of Pennsylvania and West Virginia should start to weaken it enough. But check out the numbers. It's cold still. We should be in the mid-30s. Pittsburgh will be in the upper 20s. New York City, 34 for your high, still below average. We should be near 40. And of course, a lot of these numbers, well, they are below average. They're nothing record-setting for January. So time to just wear the extra layers as we head through Monday. We've got this high-pressure system, the cold one, still on tap for us as another storm system comes in through the Great Lakes. This is a secondary Clipper system, pretty weak, but it will bring snow into Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and parts of Pennsylvania and upstate New York as we head through Monday afternoon and Monday evening. The storm track staying separate from the southern U.S.
Well, there you go. It has been
Mm.
very cold, I would say, here. So, but again, it is what it is. It's it's winter, and in Western New York, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, they're not used to this. Oh, we're gonna get snow." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, you guys, you don't remember this is what we always got?" They forget.
Mhm.
They've forgotten. So this Arctic, she probably said most of it. So we probably don't have to read the whole article. You guys get the drift, correct? You get the drift that it's been cold in the West Coast, New
Mhm.
York City, Boston, Buffalo. I'm, where I am, south of Buffalo. So this was 3 a.m. Look at that. It's pretty blue. But this should stay in the Arctic, should it not, Jennifer?
Well, under normal circumstances, if the climate wasn't dissolving,
Yeah,
and
this,
Arctic amplification wasn't in play, we wouldn't be getting
right.
temperatures this extreme and actually even probably this cold. Although, it's within the realm of reason having -2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
That happens. But the Arctic amplification makes it worse, and it makes the changes more sudden, and so you're probably gonna go from very cold, and then it's all of a sudden gonna get nice outside, so as
Yeah.
it passes.
And I always know, I have to look forward to not dragging firewood, but all the gardening crap. So I'll always
Mm,
be complaining. All right. Well, anyway, uh, down south, it's going to be cold. There, that's my official weather. I'm a weather person.
mhm,
It's going to be cold, chilly. And the snow where Antonio lives in North Carolina, they're not really used to all that. They're just not.
Well, that's the thing
Gosh.
about Arctic amplification and the jet
Mm-hmm.
stream dipping as it slows down and gets more irregular and slower. It goes further south than it normally would. So while this very cold temperature, Sandy, is not that
Oh,
exceptional for your neck of the woods, it is
no.
exceptional for like Florida, for Texas. Remember when all
They got the freeze.
those
Oh,
things
yeah.
froze in
Oh, that was
Texas and
awful.
their
That was
gas meters broke
absolutely
and all sorts of
awful.
things?
I
Yeah.
know. Absolutely.
That's
Everybody's
that's
getting
all
hit.
Arctic amplification brought to you care of climate change.
Yes. And I was listening to Paul Beckwith talking on Peter Carter's channel, Paul and Peter, and they were talking about the
Mhm.
jet stream and what a mess. So
Mhm.
that's what it looks like in Grand Forks and Minneapolis. And they predict this cold wave will be every bit as cold as the one last week. So basically, Binghamton, New York, really
There
it
you
is cold.
go.
It is
That's the
colder.
big drip.
Yeah. And T-Bone, our new friend, and everybody, I'm going to give him a plug. T-Bone's here. Hey, can we see that? T-Bone says it's cold in Florida. Jennifer, he does fantastic videos, by the way. I have to
Great.
introduce you to T-Bone, he's in our community.
Absolutely.
He's now
Welcome.
he blows me away in these videos. Okay.
That's great.
So, yeah, I love them. And I will learn. So here we are with the pattern through Friday, and I know what my pattern is, dragging an electric heater back and forth from one room to the other that supplements the wood stove because it's cold and I don't like to use the propane that much. I really don't because it's expensive and I don't like it. Okay,
Mhm.
guys. So Christopher Spavins, welcome. Bella. Luke Greasy, welcome. All right. So the rest of the AccuWeather stuff, we're going to go on to the big one. We're going to go on to
Okay.
Inside Climate News. And Jennifer, since my voice is so awful, why don't you take this one and start it? Because
Sure.
I'm losing my voice.
Sure.
Thank you,
So this
sweetie.
is an article, as Sandy said, from InsideClimateNews.org. ConocoPhillips' plan for extracting 500 million barrels of crude in Alaska's fragile Arctic presents a defining moment for Joe Biden. So after
Ooh.
the Trump administration rushed through the Willow Project, which I'm ashamed I don't know what the Willow Project is, in its waning days, a federal judge temporarily
Sure.
halted development pending additional review. Oh, this is in the Arctic, right?
Yeah.
Environmentalists want Biden to kill Willow once and for all. Okay, so the Willow Project was lifting up the embargo and letting
See?
people
Yeah.
drill where they will.
Yep. Right there. There in that The National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska, which really sucks that we have to have a national petroleum. Oh God, why do they do this?
Hmm.
Here, I'll just do this. Okay, continue reading.
The Biden administration is facing a major test for its climate agenda in the Alaskan Arctic, where an oil company is proposing a 30-year development that would pump more than 500 million barrels of petroleum from fragile and rapidly warming ecosystem. Climate advocates say that the Willow Project planned by ConocoPhillips is incompatible with Joe Biden's goal setting the nation on a path of net zero emissions by
Oh, really?
2050 and are calling on him to reject the proposal. While Willow was approved in the final months of the Trump administration and was initially defended by the current administration, federal judge in Alaska vacated the project's approvals in August, sending it back to the approving agencies for review. I remember when they stopped all that. Yeah, that was
Mm-hmm.
great. We've been clear from the beginning that it's an unacceptable project, said Jeremy Lieb, a senior associate attorney at Earth Justice, an environmental law firm that represented advocates in one of two lawsuits that led to the August ruling.
Yeah.
Because the Arctic is warming so rapidly, and because Willow would produce oil for decades, ConocoPhillips has proposed installing chillers underground to fend off increased thawing in the permafrost.
Oh
Knock
my God.
yourself out.
Oh,
Knock
really?
yourself
Knock
out.
yourself
Freeze,
out.
refreeze the permafrost. Go ahead, give it a shot. See how it goes. It's not going to go well. Guarantee you. That
Oh
would undergrid the project's roads, pipelines, and processing plant. Basically, all of their infrastructure, they're trying to refreeze the permafrost. Oh my God.
God.
Yeah. We can't afford
Crazy.
to burn the oil that it will produce. Well, then stop. Just
Yeah, then
stop.
stop. There you go. Wait,
Stop.
Jennifer, it's early. I know it's early. However, this
However,
whole goddamn thing gets the flush of the day
oh
because this
my God.
sucks. Just stop. Just stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It will have really serious consequences for the people, wildlife, and landscape where it will be built. Allowing it to move forward really is not consistent with what this administration has promised on climate, environment, and just general science based decision making.
Ugh.
After taking office with a bold promise to halt new oil and gas development on federal lands, Biden has struggled to balance his long term goal of phasing out fossil fuels with pressure from industry and Republicans to continue with business as usual. No, don't
Business.
do it.
I'm going
Don't
to write the
do it.
business as usual song.
Yeah. Biden canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. That was good. In one of his first official acts, but allowed the replacement and expansion of the Line 3 project months later. His
Boo.
boo, boo,
Boo.
boo.
Yeah. Boo.
His Interior Department initially suspended all new leasing on federal lands, but that policy was blocked by a lawsuit. The administration then opened up more than 80 million acres in the Gulf of Mexico
Yeah,
in a
that's
lease
yep.
sale.
And the lease
Great.
sale and to compete. I say it every show to compete with Russia because they're going to drill the Arctic. We're going to drill the Gulf. There you go.
Let's just all go up in a
Ooh.
I
Boy.
agree. In Alaska, Biden last year suspended oil and gas activity in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, an undeveloped land that has long been off limits to energy development, but which was opened as part of the Republican tax legislation enacted in
Oh, you
2017.
know what I want to do with them, right?
Wow,
Kick their asses right down the road.
you betcha, baby. But the administration also supported the Willow Project in the lawsuit brought by activists, though it declined to appeal the judge's August ruling. This month, the Bureau of Land Management, or BLM, said it would revert to an Obama-era management plan for the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska, a 23 million acre swath on the North Slope, parts of which have been open to drilling for decades, and which includes the proposed Willow Project. The Trump administration had adopted a new management plan that would have opened more than 80% of the land to oil and gas development.
This
The
hurts.
plan that BLM will now revert would allow drilling on about half of the reserve. Environmental advocates welcome the move, which does not affect whether Willow proceeds. Willow has powerful supporters, including Senator Lisa Murkowski,
Bitch. Sorry. Can't help
the
myself.
Alaska Republican who has
They all
pressed
suck.
the Biden administration to allow the project to proceed. Oil production provides important revenue to the state, but has been on the decline for years. The Willow Project could produce up to 130,000 barrels per day at its peak, or nearly 30% of the current production statewide. Murkowski is one of the few Republican senators who has expressed some level of support for climate legislation, so it is a possible ally for the president in Congress as he looks to salvage his domestic agenda. But you know what, Sandy? I don't think she will. I think because she's Alaskan, she's going to go for it, right?
Well, the thing is, they get money too. I mean, Alaskans get a check. You know, they get assistance from the fossil fuel industry for their state through the taxes. So it's really in a conundrum. Plus, they need, as Jim says, where he lives, they need fossil fuels to live.
Yeah.
Wood stoves are not cutting it. If a wood stove's not cutting it totally for me at -7, then it's not going to cut it at -40 if it ever gets back there again for Jim. But yeah,
No
you know,
kidding.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a fossil, and I'm not being negative. It's just a fact. This is where we're at.
I'm going to skip down a little bit.
Okay.
Andy Modrow, state director at the Alaska Wilderness League, called Willow a legacy-setting project for Biden because it would produce a large volume of oil from a sensitive habitat for decades. Quote, "We're kind of at a crossroads," he said, "where the world acknowledges climate change. Our country is back to acknowledging climate change, and I think this project fits the bill for a question of whether we're actually going to change the direction or not during the Biden administration." Do you want to take it over, Sandy?
I don't know. Do we want to keep going on this one?
No,
It's pissing me
I'm
off.
already depressed. It's
Yeah,
pissing me off, and it
it's
goes on
pissing
and
me
on.
off, and
It's
I don't want to go anymore because you guys can read it.
it's
It'll
very
be in the
pissed
show
off.
notes,
Yes.
and Earth Justice is doing work with them, and it's just I can't do it. It's making me mad. So let's move over
Yeah.
to another thing to piss us off. Well, maybe this won't. This one, it's our favorite. You know this is actually not going to piss us off because this major disaster was averted in the icy Kara Sea after 2 oil barges ran aground. So check that out. And
Mhm.
I mean, are these oil barges going to stop running? No, I don't think so. I doubt it. But anyway, boy, my voice is horrible. Um, they said Russia's Marine Rescue Service describes the unprecedented salvation operation as extremely difficult, as the ice was rapidly building up on structures of the barges in the freezing cold polar night. Wow. The environmental group Bologna now calls on a ban on transporting the fuel oil during icy Arctic months. Well, Jennifer, What do you
Mm.
think in 10 years will there be Arctic ice? They'll be full speed ahead. But
Oh, they'll be totally full speed
I'm not,
ahead.
it could be look, it could be 20 years. We're not
Ugh.
again here telling you when it's going to be, because how the hell do we know? We just look at the data. We look at the things that we look at. We have more too. We have stuff. So there was a real threat of an ecological catastrophe comparable to the emergency near Norilsk. Oh
Uh-huh.
shit, right? Is the
Uh-huh.
wordings used by Roosmoorflot, the federal
Very
agency
good.
of marine, and I've been trying to study marine and river transport when informing about the until now unreported incident with two oil barges that ran aground at the northwestern tip of the Vigash Island on November 24th last year. You don't hear this. Was this on CNN
Yeah.
or MSNBC? Well, I wouldn't know. I
Oh,
don't
no,
watch them.
no way. You'll
I
never
don't
hear
watch
about
them
any of
anyway.
this.
But these had 7,000 tons of diesel fuel, while the other had 170 tons of kerosene. Oh, God.
Ooh.
Both barges
Ooh.
were towed by the same sea tug, the POC, operated by Lena River, United Shipping Company, based in Yakutia. So they were destination for these two barges is not disclosed. But supplies of fuel oil to Russia's remote Arctic regions are normally taking place during autumn, with departure ports like Murmansk and Arkhangelsk. Okay, shall we do it again?
Good job.
Yes.
I
Last
think that was a
fall,
good job.
however, well, it must be
Better
that
than me.
Russian blood in me. Last fall, however, saw a sudden freeze up and quickly accumulating sea ice on the northern sea route, including the Kara Sea. So the Vegash, where the two oil barges ran aground, is the island separating the archipelago of Novaya Zemlya from the mainland, most known for the Karagate. Oh, is this Karagate? Or is
We
this
didn't know about
Is it
Karagate before.
Watergate? We're going to call this Karagate. But it's the western entrance to the northern sea route between Europe and Asia. When the distress call was made, the tug with the barges was sailing in stormy winds, waves, drifting ice, and polar darkness. The salvage tug Besug was at the moment in the Karagate and came to the site of the emergency after only 35 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So then the two oil barges, the MN 4001 and the MN 4002, they were already on the rocks. Holy shit. This really could have been something, Jennifer.
This is very suspenseful.
Yes, the two
What's
other
gonna happen?
I know, right? The rescue ships, they were sent to the site with additional equipment. I'm not going to tell you I read it. And later, also a support vessel departed from Murmansk to join the rescue operation. This had to be huge. It really had to be huge.
Oh my God.
Okay. So rescuers had a hard time cracking the ice that had built up on the deck of the barges. The ice cover was about 30 to 50 centimeters thick, according to information published by Russia's Marine Rescue Service last week. So 2 months in the shadow. It is unclear why it took nearly 2 months from the accident, when it happened, till information was made public. One
I don't know
reason
why,
could be,
Sandy.
I
I
don't know why. I don't know why.
Why?
I don't
I don't
know
know
why.
why.
One reason, Jennifer, could be that the rescued barges first last week were delivered to port in Severodonetsk in the White Sea, and the danger of any spill is now over. So they didn't want to make people think they screwed up or had a potential disaster when there was no disaster. Okay. All right, maybe. The rescue operation was very difficult, and the crew of the salvage vessels were working around the clock to avoid a major spill in the fragile Arctic marine environment. Thank you guys and gals for doing that. Yay, they deserve. Those are the people that stopped this from happening. The rescuers. So pulling the barges off the rocks was considered unsafe. This certainly would have led to additional massive damage to the barge hulls with a guaranteed spill of oil products. Wow.
Right in the Arctic, right where
Right
they
in the
need
Arctic.
it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And then the work was further complicated by limited depths, windy weather, waves, shifting ice, temperatures down to -20 C, and constantly icing on the barges. The rescue workers had to manually break the ice to gain access to hatches and other structures and to reduce the weight of the barges. Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot of work for these guys. Um,
Wow.
Diving inspections revealed that the ballast tanks on both of the barges were pierced. So, two tankers came to the site and about 5,000 tons of diesel
Wow.
fuel were reloaded. I wonder how much spilled.
Well,
Just
that's a
dripped. It
good way
had
to
to have
do it.
some.
Lighten it up so it can kind of rise
Yeah.
and get off the rocks itself. That's a
Well, it
very good
had
way to
to.
do it.
Yes, it is. So the first barge was removed from the rocks during December, soon to be followed by the other. So this is
But
Big
why
Ash
2
Island.
of them? Why did 2 barges crash on the rocks?
I don't
What
know.
happened that
They
2
they
barges?
were
I mean,
going, two
presumably
going.
they have sonar. Maybe they got blown there? Was it really
That's
rough?
why it was the horrible weather. It was
Oh,
like terrible. So after the additional diving inspections, the plan was made on how to tow the barges to a safe port. So that was really basically what it is. They had to go through the eastern part of the Barents Sea and the White Sea. Wow. This had to be
wow.
huge. I wonder who'll make the movie. Oh, there's the star. Here's the star of the movie. This is let me see if this is, yes, it's Sigurd Enge, and he is an advisor on Arctic and shipping with the Bologna Foundation. So Thomas Nielsen took this. Here's the star. Okay, we
Oh,
got it. We
he looks like a
Doesn't
movie
he look
star,
like the
shouldn't he?
star?
He looks like he should be in the movie.
Yeah, he's the guy in the movie. So
Oh my
he
god.
says he's the expert, and he was very worried about what happened. And it's
Yeah.
only luck that this didn't ended in disastrous oil spill, he said in the phone interview with the Barents Observer. But it clearly shows, he says, that the Northern Sea route is not it's not ready for primetime players, guys.
No.
But he says towing barges with fuel oil are seriously jeopardizing the Arctic environment, and we can't base emergency preparedness on luck. Well, that was pretty good.
Oh.
So, Jen, do you want to take the rest of this one?
Well, you go ahead because 'cause I'm not
Okay.
exactly sure
All
where
right.
you are.
Engi had first experience from his younger days in the Arctic waters with shrimp fisheries in the North Barents Sea and around the archipelago of Svalbard. Icing on vessels happens very quickly, just like airplanes, too. Icing,
Okay.
that's why they have the de icing on the wings like that. And he says, in worst conditions, sea spray icing occurs when freezing cold wave generated spray comes in contact with any structure on the boat. So seawater can freeze to ice on the deck within seconds. In December
Wow.
2020, icing was believed to cause the sinking of the Russian fishing vessel Onega near Novaya Zemlya in the eastern Barents Sea. Only 2 of 19 crew members was rescued. I remember this. It was really horrible.
Ugh.
Um, Enge said that the danger of icing makes towing and emergency navigation especially hard. So these guys are heroes. You can't even
Mm,
sail against the wind. That will create
mm.
even more spray that freezes on the vessel. So we in
Oh god.
Bologna, we strongly recommend imposing a ban on towing barges with fuel oil in icy waters, especially during polar night. It was all for money to get, but people do need
Wow.
they need it. They live up there. They're cold. They need the shit. That's yeah, Jennifer. That's a big piece of it. It's not just,
Ugh.
I guess it's not just greed. It's just how can you get how can you get everything there quick enough,
Yeah.
or well enough to get these people their fuel for the winter time.
Yeah.
My
Well,
gosh.
Sandy, this sort of thing is gonna happen more and more as the Arctic
Yeah,
becomes a shipping way that everybody can use, and eventually everybody can use
I'm
all
telling
year
you.
round, right?
It will be.
They have hurricanes in the Arctic. They have
Mhm.
cyclones, and they're very strong cyclones. What if you get a cyclone when you're up there? Or even better yet, when it gets a little bit warmer, we're right on the the threshold right now. What if like methane bursts go off when these guys are running through the Kara Sea and the Laptev Sea and all these seas,
Oh,
right?
scary
Do you
shit.
know what'll happen if methane bursts go off and the
And
buoyancy of the water?
not even
They
big
can
ones.
well, they can sink,
Yeah.
right? They can sink because the water won't have the same density. It'll have less density. And so, big shipping containers like this could just sink. So the water wouldn't hold them up if it was full of bubbles.
Mm.
Isn't that
You know,
wild?
yeah, I'm trying to get your connection better. I don't know what's going on with the internet, but live is always challenging, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, everybody has. Oh, Jennifer, I watch a lot of live shows. Everybody has challenges. And I was wondering because it's so cold, actually is the because we did a speed test and the speed was great. I just wondered if the cold affects something. I don't know. The weather here was it was snowing like
Hmm.
crazy earlier, but so Jen, do you want to should we look at some of the graphs I have set up or do
Sure.
you or okay,
Yeah, no,
how
let's
clear
please.
let's see how clear they look for everybody. Um I'll put us back into our little boxes, okay? We're going to be in little boxes, guys. And we're going to look at all of these graphs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, let's see, what do you want to start with?
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
have Zach Labes. We have Arctic. We have two Zach Labes. We have the long one. We have this, or the short one. We have this one.
Well,
This one.
go back. Go back
Okay,
to
let's
what
go
you
to
were.
that one. Let's
Just the
go
yeah,
there.
stop.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a little crap.
Um, yeah, this is the Antarctic sea ice anomalies. And this is, I can't really read the date on the x-axis.
That's what
Maybe
I'm
you
trying to
can
read it.
see. I
You
can't
know,
really
it's
tell.
more
Okay,
difficult.
it's
It
very
seems to
difficult
be.
for me to read this. So
I'm just
I was
wondering,
actually
maybe we
talking
should get him
about,
on Twitter.
uh,
Hmm.
you do what you want. But I actually wanted to talk about the graph that's in back of us. That one, yes, because this is interesting.
Oh.
This
Okay,
is
well then I'm gonna.
140 years of temperature data. And you can see, it goes all the way up to 2021. And that is not looking healthy. It looks like a fire. It looks like a fire. And see how the peaks are going up? It's those peaks that are really
Yeah,
disturbing
look at that.
because they are portents of the future. It's kind of
Wow.
like where we're going to be going. And it's very clear, through the 1940s all the way to the 1980s, that 40-year time period, we were fairly stable. Things were not going up. And after 1980, it's just off to the races. So these last 40 years, the emissions are just. And of course, keep in mind, carbon dioxide has a lag cycle on it as far as its heating potential by
Yeah.
10 to 20 years. And so we are actually just right now experiencing the emissions that were around the year 2000. Think of that. So we still have all
Wow.
those emissions because carbon dioxide takes so long to heat up. This is Scott Duncan.
True
I
that.
really like his
Work.
stuff.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
Good.
really like his
Maybe we
stuff.
can get him as a guest. We'll
It'd be great.
see. I've got my irons in the fire. So we have a few of them, but if they're not clear, I'll have to get them off
Oh, no,
of
they're good. Just let's try.
but
It's just if I'm trying to read from your screen, it's hard to
it
see
may
the
be.
details.
Well, that's I'm wondering it is how it is for our audience. Do you want to pull up should I pull up a methane or an
Yes.
abnormal methane? Okay. We'll look at the methane.
Yes.
This one's
Well,
not
this
that
is
clear either,
interesting.
but
That's
there you
okay.
go.
That doesn't matter. So what is notable here, see where they've circled? That is where the methane emissions are coming up in the Laptev Sea in Siberia. Now, it's
Wow.
also interesting to note all through Southeast Asia, all through India, that's all methane from like rice paddies and agriculture and
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of things like that. So that's kind of human assisted methane emissions already,
Yes.
and look at this through South America. A
Mm.
lot of the methane comes from vegetation, and some of it comes
Mm.
from coal mines. It comes from all sorts of places, but the methane that we're paying attention to, because it's not yet a hugest contributor on Earth, is the Arctic, because there are gigantic methane stores there, and you can see here that it's visible.
Yeah,
They're
it's pretty
starting
big.
to take off.
Oh yeah, that methane.
Yeah.
That's okay. How about we look at, you want to look at the baromethane? There was another one.
That's
This
fine.
was Atmospheric Baseline Observatory, and this also was up through the years. This comes from, NOAA, and I'm just going to have to move it around. There's the
Be sure to leave the numbers at the bottom.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am. I'm just trying to get it as clear and big as possible for everyone to look at. Okay, Jen, have at it. Look at the
Well, it looks
orange.
like
Oh
this goes
boy.
from 1980. Could you make it bigger like you had it before,
I can
Sandy?
make it bigger. I
Okay,
can
now I
make it
can see
bigger.
it better. 1984 to present. And this is CH4 methane concentrations and emissions. And you can see the yearly cycle. And it does kind of mimic the carbon dioxide in that it's, on an upward rise up, but methane has an interesting thing. There are these outliers, and it's the
Mm-hmm.
outliers that people get worried about, because they are, again, portents of the future, where we're going to be going. They're kind of like how the trend is going to be in the future. And you can see that the methane emissions are going up steadily
Oh.
in the Arctic, and this is at the Barrow Atmospheric Observatory, Baseline
Mm-hmm.
Observatory. So that's in northern Alaska, as far north as they can get.
Hey guys, like and subscribe. Kim's telling you. Give us some likes out there.
Don't miss
uh-huh.
don't mess with Kim. Don't.
Don't mess with our
Don't.
Kim,
Don't mess
and
with
Kate.
her.
We have the two Ks today, and Karen Reese is here, so we have three Ks. But the
Oh,
two and Hunter, are you here, Hunter? And Scott Andrews is here too. Boy, Ulawali Blue. Hey, okay, so here we go. How about? I guess it's just going to be graph bingo or whatever I pick. Climate reanalyzer. Did we look at this one?
so
Now
this is
this is a
interesting. This
hot
is
one.
temperature anomaly map. So you can
Yeah.
see that. Can you pull this bigger, Sandy, the whole
Yep,
thing?
I am. All right,
Great.
guys.
That's
How does that
perfect.
look?
Perfect.
All right.
So what's interesting is, where is it most off? And what you can see, like the brighter red, like look at that blister right up in Siberia, right along the coast. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that there were 100-degree days in
Wow.
Siberia, right? And
Yes.
remember, guys, last week we were talking about Arctic rivers. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
You get 100-degree day in Siberia, or just hot summers in general. All those Arctic rivers are going to heat up. And what's going to happen? They degrade the ice.
Mm.
So that's interesting. I'm glad that he circled these to kind of draw our attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
We can see that there's also right along, just east of Greenland, that circle
Yes.
up there, lot of anomalous heat. And guess what that is right in the center? That's Svalbard. Check that out.
Wow.
That is Svalbard right up there. And so Svalbard is one of the places that's been anomalously hot. And it's amazing, because it's, place of polar bears and
Yeah.
icebergs and glaciers, but it's
Beautiful.
really on the
By the
front line of
way,
climate change.
this is Christopher Cartwright from Twitter who's done this.
Is it?
These maps. Yeah, he puts them up, and
Nice.
he's another communicator. I'm not gonna have a
Yeah.
voice. Yeah.
And then down below, you
Yeah.
can see where he's circled in Antarctica. And of course, we
Yep.
all know that Antarctica is starting to really take off.
Oh, I bet it.
And this is an example of the anomalous heat that's being seen in Antarctica. And last week, we talked about the Thwaites Glacier, which is dissolving. It's the size of Florida or Great Britain, take your
Mm.
pick. and that's going to raise sea level by several feet.
I'll check this one out then.
Yeah.
We've got the Antarctica anomaly.
Yeah. Well,
But the
that's
only
West
thing I
Antarctica
was
on fire. Check
Yeah, but
that
I'm
out.
confused
So
about
why?
the date on this on the top. Am I reading the date wrong? Because
Yeah,
it
that's
said,
it's forecast. It's a forecast for the
all
30th
right,
of
all right,
January
it's a
2022.
forecast.
So
Okay.
this is what is
Okay.
coming to Antarctica. It's not happened yet, but they can
Right.
forecast it. And look right along the spine of
Mm-hmm.
Antarctica, of West
Mm.
Antarctica, right?
Wow.
See that light brown? It's
Mm-hmm.
light brown because they ran out of colors. Look over there on legends. You can see that that is really a lot of anomalous heat. And that's only going to accelerate all the glaciers that are currently
Mm.
melting and accelerate the calving of the ice shelves. And those ice shelves are the only thing that are holding the glaciers in place, you know.
Yes.
So,
Dave at Just Have
another
a Think
piece of
has a
good
video.
news.
Yeah, he's got a video, a good one on that.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
I, and
Hmm.
and
Indeed,
we like Dave. He does very,
indeed.
very nice work. All right, let's see. The next
He's exceptional.
one. He is exceptional. We could go into sea
Antarctic
ice
sea ice extent,
yeah.
so bring it up as big as you can, Sandy, like, take up
I'm
the
working
whole
on it.
screen. There you go. Okay, stop.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay.
That's good. Okay, so what we're paying attention to here is the aqua thick line right at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that just like the Arctic, Antarctica sea ice extent is going down. So that is the area of ocean with at least 15% sea ice. So that is going down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is saying.
Okay. And we
It's
have
a
another
yearly,
one.
it's an annual graph with many years in there. That's fine.
We do have no, I did this already. Oak Stent. We did the other one,
Arctic
right?
sea ice extent. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
So
did
this is
both.
interesting because you can see the 2012 2013 dotted line at the bottom. As we all know, 2012 2013, that winter season had the lowest sea ice extent in the Arctic. But you can also see
Mm-hmm.
the aqua line, which is us. It crossed over and met the 2012 sea ice extent line. Well, actually, look at that. It's on it right now. So in any case, that's where we are. It's just
That's
another
where we
indication that
are.
things are
A little
getting
different,
dicey.
getting
They're
dicey.
getting dicey.
Let me see if I put everything up. This one, did we do this one? The Antarctic, the extent?
Yes,
Okay.
we did.
So I think
We just did that.
we're pretty good with our graphs today. And perhaps we'll go back and then we'll revisit another
Mhm,
article. And Jen, the next one is another
mhm.
fun one. Let me make sure it comes up. Okay, this is the Shell's massive carbon capture plant is emitting more than it's capturing. So I think
Yay,
this one is like
team!
magical thinking because it's all going to be all good. So
God.
go for it. Would you like to?
Right. Okay,
Okay.
sure. And this is brought to you by Shell. Thank you very much, Shell. Shell's massive carbon capture plant is emitting more than it's capturing. A new global witness report found that it has the same carbon footprint per year as 1.2 million gas powered cars. Oh, yay,
Oh my.
team. Well done.
Yeah, yay team. Oh boy. Oh.
A first of its kind green Shell facility in Alberta is emitting more greenhouse gases than it's capturing, throwing into question whether taxpayers should be funding it, a new report has found.
Mm.
Shell's Quest carbon capture and storage facility captured 5 million tons of carbon dioxide from hydrogen produced at its Schofield complex between 2015 and 2019. Scofford refines oil from the Alberta tar sands. That's the most
Oh,
horrible,
it is horrible.
most sinful, horrible thing they've ever done is those tar sands. Horrible. But a report from human rights organization Global Witness found the hydrogen plant emitted 7 million tons of greenhouse gases in the same time frame. Oh, this is
I
brilliant.
love the advertisement underneath. Tires, wheels. Oh my god.
Including methane, which has 80 times the
Yeah.
warming power of carbon dioxide
Ugh.
during its first 20 years in the atmosphere. It accounts for about a quarter of man made warming today.
Mm.
To put that into perspective, the climate forward part of Scott Ford plant alone has the same carbon footprint per year as 1.2 million fuel powered cars, Global
Wow.
Witness said. We do think Shell is misleading the public in that sense and
You
only
think?
giving us I don't know. I don't think so,
I mean,
Sandy. They
come
wouldn't.
on.
They wouldn't. They
Shell, they
wouldn't do
have so
that.
much
They
ethical
wouldn't.
standing. They have a two-sentence ethics page.
Bastards. Bastards. Bastards.
Yeah, really.
Only giving us one side of the story.
Drip
He said the
and drip.
industry's been pushing for government to subsidize the production of fossil hydrogen. That's hydrogen produced from natural gas.
Mm.
That's supplemented with carbon capture technology as a climate friendly way forward. It's all good. Don't worry about a thing. But the new report shows that's not the case. In an email, Shell said the facility was introduced to display the merits of carbon capture technology, but didn't directly respond to the allegation that its hydrogen component emitted 7.5 million tons of greenhouse gases. Imagine that.
Imagine.
Quest was originally designed as a demonstration project to prove carbon capture technology and overall has met or exceeded our expectations, said Shell Canada spokesperson Stephen Doolan. Doolan also said that as of today, Quest has captured 6 million tons of carbon, but Global Witness noted that as time passes, the facility captures more carbon, it will also emit more. Something's wrong with this picture.
It's
Quest
it's
is the
not
world's first.
been, it's not there yet. It's
No,
not there yet.
not there yet. It's a good demo. Quest is the world's first commercial scale carbon capture facility and one of few like it around the world today. Good
Mm.
thing. Good thing. But Global Witness's finding throw into question whether carbon capture and storage technologies
Look for a
are
picture.
as green as oil companies claim or whether they amount to greenwashing.
Mm.
Lately, industry players have been saying that carbon capture technology is a key component in
I
reaching
gotta
net
look at a
zero.
picture.
Capture technology like that, just shoot yourself in the head now. You
Oh
know,
God.
Shell has described the carbon capture facility at its Alberta plant as showing that carbon capture technology is an effective way of reducing carbon emissions, whereas our investigation shows that's clearly not the case.
Mm.
This should be a wake up call for governments, not just Canada, but across the world.
Wake up! Yeah, they're gonna wake up.
Quest has already inspired a separate carbon capture project in Norway and another large scale project in the Alberta Scotford facility. Meanwhile, Germany announced this week that even though it's opting to subsidize clean hydrogen, it won't foot the bill for blue hydrogen, which uses fossil fuels during production and then sequesters carbon emissions using carbon capture technology, the same type of hydrogen production at Shell's Scotford plant. Global Witness report also notes that Canada's federal and Alaska's government spent hundreds of millions of dollars of public funds, at least US 654 million, to pay for the billion-dollar Quest project. Somebody's making money on this, Sandy. I just
Of
know it.
course they are. Of course
Alberta's
they are.
Ministry of Energy declined to comment because it hadn't yet seen the report. I don't know. I don't know. Meanwhile, Canada's Ministry of Natural Resources said they were unable to comment on the report, but Joanna Shiva Sankaran, the press secretary for Minister of Natural Resources, said carbon capture, utilization, and storage is not a silver bullet to the climate crisis, but it's an important tool on the pathway to reaching Canada's ambitious climate goals and reducing emissions in many industries, including oil and gas, except if you're emitting more in the process of capturing carbon than you take in, then that is a slight problem with the math.
Do-
Shiva Sankaran noted the government is currently developing a cap on emissions for the oil and gas sector as part of Canada's strategy to hit net zero by 2050. Motherboard reported last week how Canada's sole carbon capture plants keep breaking. Several experts have already flagged carbon capture technology, particularly in oil and gas, as a poor public investment, citing its failures to drastically curb emissions. In a letter sent Wednesday to Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland and other ministers, hundreds of academics and scientists urged Justin Trudeau's government to avoid rewarding companies who use carbon capture technology. There are some
Wow, this
problems
is
with
pretty
this.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's
Wow.
heavy. It's funny money. It's tricky accounting.
That's a pretty heavy one, Jennifer. I mean, as far as like everybody with solution focused stuff, and
Yeah,
I don't
I
know if you got
know.
to see my interview with Felice Todd. Dr. Todd's a physicist, and she, was talking about energy and returns and investments and all. And I mean, are people going to have carbon capture units on their homes? And then to me, as I said, it seems like then it's just business as usual. So we'll burn it and suck it up. I did read an article, I don't have it here, that did talk about carbon being changed from the
Uh-huh.
gaseous carbon into
Yeah.
hardened carbon to reuse. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
there's
I
research
read one
going on.
interesting one where they can actually, I think it was on Just Have a Think, they can create starch, edible starch from carbon dioxide. Isn't that
Yeah.
wild? They can
So you go to
actually
his
create
channel to
edible
see.
starch.
And his channel will tell you all of those things. I mean,
Yeah.
he brings in all, he's the techno guy,
Yeah.
what's going on in the future, Dave. We're giving you a shout out
Yeah.
to all
So
your
they
350,000 people that see your videos.
Yeah. So they go on to say, Sandy, we are deeply concerned with the government's proposal to introduce a new investment tax credit for carbon capture, utilization, and
Wonderful.
storage. At best, it prevents some carbon dioxide from polluting facilities from reaching the atmosphere, but it's not a negative emissions technology. It will constitute a substantial new fossil fuel subsidy. So it's going to be another one of these subsidies. So they go on to cite research that highlights the technology's terrible track record and limited potential to significantly reduce emissions. By funding such efforts, often touted by big oil and other emitters, the government diverts resources from proven cost effective solutions. Well, what are those? I don't know what are proven cost effective solutions. Freeland's press secretary Adrian Vopas responded by asserting that carbon capture technology is about reducing emissions and not intended for enhanced oil recovery projects. The tax credit available for wide range carbon capture projects, including blue hydrogen, has been confirmed. So that's pretty
Ah,
much it on that one, but it's enough to kind of make you really wonder. It's kind of hard to understand all of it because I'm sure there's a lot more detailed
Oh,
than
there's
we
so much. We're
mentioned,
not
but
engineers. We're not, we're not
yeah,
engineers or anything, but we can always find someone who knows and bring them on.
that's
I put on
right.
a graphic. I thought we needed something for the eyes behind us. And we do
Oh,
have the article that we do have coming up though is the New York Times article
oh, right.
right here. We're gonna go fast though, because we're already at an hour and my throat's killing me. But this, that no, my throat's not killing me. That's wrong. It's dry because it's dry in my house. Although I
Oh, yeah.
have pots of water on the stove, it's just what it is. So, what
Mhm.
we're going to do is go through this together and show these pictures that the New York Times put together. A trove of old photos could reveal the future of these Arctic glaciers. The Svalbard
Yeah.
Islands, part of Norway, was warming 7 times faster than the global average. Aerial pictures from the 1930s are helping researchers understand what it means. So, um, I don't want to read the whole thing because like I said, I'm losing my voice. But as we go down, we can look at the pictures, and I'm going to take us
Mhm.
off so that we can really see them. Um, and I possibly could make them a little bit bigger for you guys. You see on the left a computer reconstructed model of the glacier in 1936, and then on the right is the more contemporary model showing the extent of glacial loss in 2009. Now that's 2009. It
Yeah.
could be a lot a little bit
A lot
different.
more. Yeah, a
And
lot
then
more.
here the uh model glacier in 1936, the Glot Glatfelgelbein Breen. I'm probably
Good
messing it all
job.
up. Glacier.
Good job.
Torstein's here. He could probably tell us how to do it, but um, and again modeled in 2009. So these are older pictures. We really, have to find some newer pictures. I don't know why the New York Times, with all the money they have, all the
Yeah,
money they
these
have, more money
pictures
than
are,
God.
like, 13 years old.
Yeah. So
The
what's up
the
there
the
now?
present ones, right. A lot less.
Okay. Well, maybe I don't know. So anyway, they just say their predictions for future glacier change are not very grounded in all the data we already have from what's happened in the last century. But they have a unique opportunity to look back at time. So let's see. Uh, is there a picture here that I'm missing? Oh, here it is. It took a little while to get in there. See here,
Mhm.
they reconstructed the Svalbard glaciers in 1936, and it reveals in striking
This is really a
details.
very interesting map,
Yeah.
Sandy, and you can see this is the actual islands of Svalbard archipelago, right? And all around the edges and in different places where those red dots are, that's
Hmm.
all melting fast.
Wow.
And not very many gains, right? Blue is a gain, so there's, like, a
Yeah.
couple of blue dots, but everything else, it's all red dots.
Yeah.
Red
Wow.
a lot of area glaciers are dissolving.
Look at that. But it's nice to see the map like this, and it's sad though. It is. It's sad.
It's
It's
sad, it's
just so
going before
sad.
our eyes.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
across the frosty roof of the planet, rapid warming is upending lives and disrupting the vast wild landscapes. And the NOAA, in their latest annual assessment, they found that shrinking sea ice and snow cover continue to transform the region last year. Um, well, we all know that because we talk about it all the time. Let's see, do they have any more? Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is the Tungebrin Glacier. Tungebrin Glacier. And this was 1936 again. And you can see
Mm.
definitely there. And then on the right side, same glacier, less ice.
Yeah.
So it's just, of
It's
course, it's a
amazing.
pattern. It
Yeah.
is. I want to
It's
shut us off so
obvious.
everybody could see. Could you all see
Yeah,
that? Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Did they have drones in 2009? I don't think so. I think that was it then. All right. So that will be in the show notes. We
Mhm.
do have we had a couple more things. It's an hour and 8 minutes, and we did have it was an older article, but it was new. It was called "New Research Identifies Communities in the Arctic that are most vulnerable when the permafrost thaws," and it's from. I don't know if we've ever used the High North News. Jennifer, should we go
Mm-mm.
for a quick overview?
Well, I don't think we need to go through the whole thing, but I do wanna take a quick dip into the map that they have with the
Okay,
little hexagons
here
on
we
it.
go. Yep.
Right, because that is where the permafrost on land is really giving way. So
Mm.
each hexagon represents a certain area on the land that's rimming the Arctic, and the darker the color of the hexagon, the more the permafrost is thawing, right? So you can see that it's concentrated in certain parts. It's got a lot in Alaska and especially over in the Kara Sea area, the Siberian area that borders the Kara Sea. A lot of the permafrost is giving way there right at the rim of the Arctic Circle.
Mm.
So, that's the area that those are the areas that are on the threshold. Those are the areas that are on the tipping point, is right at the border of the Arctic Circle. Not completely, but in general, that seems to be where it is, you know.
Wow.
But that's where the permafrost is giving way, and once permafrost thaws, all sorts of things happen, right? We know this, you
Oops.
know. Methane and all sorts of greenhouse gases can be emitted, fires can take place, infrastructure can cave, diesel
Ugh.
tanks can give way, um, all sorts of bad things. Plus,
Yeah,
it's all connected. So that's the manifestation we're seeing
it's
in the
all
permafrost.
connected, and we know this. Hello, wants to know were those hexagons cruise ships? Okay. No.
Well, if they were cruise ships, they would be on land, so that would be
Right?
a neat trick.
Yeah.
So, no, the
It's
hexagons
nice to see
are
him.
all on land, they're not in the sea.
Well, he's joining us from Australia, and that's very
Hello,
nice to
nice
see
to
you.
see you.
And he used to do a lot of videos, so I don't know whatever you're doing, it's nice to see you. It really is. It's great. I mean, I'm sure you still follow, other people, but it's nice to see you here. So, we really went through quite a bit. I think we did a overview of the news and what's going on, some of the good, some of the bad. The rescue was a really good thing, and stopping that spill. Those
That
people,
was.
yeah, they really deserved a
Yeah,
lot of credit, a lot of
yeah.
credit.
That was an ingenious thing to lighten up those barges, pump the stuff
Right,
into another barge, it's
right.
obvious when you think about it, but it's like one of those puzzles, and it's like, "Okay, gotta make it lighter." That was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
actually
Well,
had a
I think
yeah.
it's been a good show, and I want to say thank you for everybody that is donating to us through Buy Me a Coffee, and I really appreciate it. Let me tell you, it this week was a good one because I had two big subscriptions for yearly things come out. So thank you guys for that. And all of the regulars, you know who you are. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but thank you. Become a member, buy us a coffee. It's really cute, or PayPal, whatever you want to do. And that's my thing. And as far as our schedule, Sundays at 6 o'clock Eastern, and Wednesday morning, I do an 11 a.m. Eastern show. Fridays are either it was 9 o'clock at night. I went early this week and I kind of liked it. So we're gonna try to feel in and see what Fridays are gonna be for first time interviews, because I know that Sam was here earlier saying he didn't know, but we try to post our videos a day before, and you can always put a notification on them, and don't forget again to like and subscribe. It's very important if you're new that we get subscribers, and it was great to see you, Kameshwari Kate. Jen?
Well, it's been an interesting show. We've been talking about the Arctic and the Antarctic and all things around them. But the thing that we keep seeing with both the Arctic and the Antarctic is they continue to escalate. They are exponentiating and the ice continues to melt. So we are living in a changing world. In our
Yeah.
interglacial state, we will not be interglacial when all the ice is gone on Earth, and we'll be back into some other world. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Some other world. Well,
Yeah.
for those of you who I don't know if you want to stay, I can play my um video, the in case you didn't see it, we'll just play it. What the hell? And I'll say good night and thank you, Jennifer. As always, it was wonderful doing the show with you. And okay, Rich, maybe I should have watched. Okay, he was here in the chat the whole time. Silly.
Uh-huh.
We've got a lot of comedians. Bongo Dave, thank you for joining us and everybody. All right. Peace out, guys. Enjoy the video.